Bam. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's latest episode of the Ominus Show. I am your host, Elliot Rodriguez. You can see my name right here. I am a comic book artist, not a professional. Yeah, I am a amateur comic book artist. I guess amateur. I'll probably use that word. Yeah, because I'm not professional. I haven't done any professional work. I just draw because I love it. I love drawing. I love creating. And I love making comics. And yeah, so I'm a indie comic book artist, CG artist, comic skate artist, and I draw a lot of cool stuff for not for comic. Well, yeah, comic skate fan art, you could say. But yes, so this is the show. Today we have a guest. Um, and before we get to that, I just want to make a few quick announcements about my comic. As you saw just a few seconds ago, you saw the trailer, the official trailer for Ominus Avenging Death, and Ominus is launching uh, in about a month. I would like to say in about a month, June 20, about a month away, a little bit less than a month away. Less than a month away. Crap. Yeah, so you can see that here. Pew, pew. This is the launch date for Ominous. So the party is going to be here on my channel. Hopefully, I can get some guests to come by. If not, we'll just hang out and then just see what's up on the interwebs. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that's coming out that's been happening that I want to comment on, but I haven't had a chance to do so. I will this Thursday though. So but yes, so June 26th. This is the launch date, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So please sign up. And also, if you didn't already know, the sign up link for Ominous is live. So please sign up now. People that sign up get an amazing deal. There's going to be 2 books for the price of 1 deal that I'm going to offer for everyone who signed up, which is exclusive and valid only on launch day. So only on June 26th. I may extend it one more day, but June 26th is the surefire day where you can get in on that deal. I'll also have other deals, but these deals are going to be exclusive to the people that are signing up for the campaign. So please, the link is in the chat. It's pinned at the top of the chat. So please click on it, sign up, and get ready for some awesome deals. Because I'm going to throw some really good stuff at you guys. Starting with this. I have this 3 books for the price of 1. I'm going to have 3 covers on the book on this campaign. Cover A and C are finished. B, I'm going to start working on next week. And so you'll be able to get 3 books for the price of 2, saving you $10 in the process. And each book is going to be 36 pages. So please be sure to get in on that. And then also you have this deal, another 2 books for the price of 1. And I found out not too long ago that FundMyComic also lets you do this thing where you can select what cover you want. So I initially thought of this as you getting two books of the same cover, but if you like, you can swap one out and get a different cover. So you can get cover A, B, B, C, C, A. I don't know. You guys mix and match however you like. I think I'll be able to set that up also. And if you had tuned in last week, you know that I was talking with Pete Samedi about newsprint comics. I have got my voucher for that. So I'm going to offer that also on the campaign. It's going to be a limited print run, but I will offer a newsprint edition of the book also at a cheaper price. So I think it may be priced at $5 for a physical book newsprint. Ominous newsprint for $5. I think that may be I think that's probably going to be the price point for it. And it's going to be limited. It's not going to be just a few copies and then that's it. So if you want to get a newsprint also while you're at it, you can do that too. $5 extra, throw in a newsprint. So if you like newsprint, you get newsprint. You can get your gloss paper, whatever you like. So I'm also going to have a digital option also. Yeah, so that's going to be there. So sign up. Don't miss out on the party. The party starts. Or the party is on. I'm sorry. The party is on June 26th. Be there. Tell everybody about me. Tell your friends about me. Tell your mom, your dad. Tell everybody to come on over. Yes. And so I think that's about it. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that. And then we're going to get into the real reason why we're here um, today. Today, I have a special guest. This is I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend my guest, but I don't know if newcomer would be the word to say. I mean, to me, in my case, because it's the first time I'm exposed, I know about this person. His name is John, and hold on, before I forget, put this up here on the banner. John Osachuk. I don't know if that's correctly pronounced, but John is coming to us today. We're going to talk to him about his comic INKER. I know some of the creative talent that's on the book, so there are a lot of. It's great to see these names attached to the IP, and we'll talk about that today. So without any further ado, let's bring on my guest. So please, a big round of applause for my guest, John Osachuk. Man, I hope I didn't butcher your last name. Is that correct, John Osachuk? Is that correct?
Osachuk.
Osachuk. I butchered the crap out of that. Osachuk. I'm sorry.
That's all good. It's all good. It was much worse in high school.
Osachuk. Awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. No, that wasn't on purpose or anything.
It's all good.
Awesome. So please, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for wanting to come on the show and for talking about your IP. Please, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself to the people in the chat.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to talk to you in real life outside of just a little bit of connection over Twitter through the messaging.
That's true.
I'm a lifelong fan of storytelling. When I was a kid, I really enjoyed reading some Marvel comic books, but I would say my passion has always been in the storytelling as opposed to the art. And this project, Trials of Gods and Men, is something that has been in development for over 30 years. Really, all my life, I've always wanted to be a writer. I just didn't really understand how to tell a story very well that I would want to be representing me and having released into the world. So the last 12 years or so, I've really been studying the art of storytelling. And this book, INKER, is my first foray into releasing something for the masses.
Awesome. And how did you go about with your 12 years of study? What constitutes studying, or at least how you did it? How would you describe?
Yeah, great question. Writing, storytelling is one of those arts that can be studied without needing to necessarily go to school. It's great to have some mentors, but for myself, I watched thousands of hours of different YouTube creators talking about the art of storytelling. I've read a lot of books on storytelling. I've done some workshops in person. I did a little bit of university when I was younger, but the feedback wasn't the best because I always had a passion for epic fantasy. And in the university circles, that was always just frowned upon because they always wanted literature, different stuff like that. Whereas I
like writing novels. Sorry to interrupt. Like writing novels. Okay.
Right. But for just maybe it's different now. This is a long time ago. This is like 2001 when I was in university. But fantasy was just kind of looked down on by the profs as something that wasn't like a valid form of literature. Whereas I feel now there's a greater appreciation for fantasy and science fiction. I mean, you have the classics like Dune, obviously, Tolkien, and you've seen the commercial success of Harry Potter, George R.R. Martin, and so many other writers. I'm currently reading this guy named Patrick Rothfuss. And
Patrick
Rothfuss, Rothfuss.
Okay.
And
awesome.
It's an incredible book. I think it's must be in my bedroom. Yeah, but once my own education started to take shape in my mind of understanding how stories are told, now and then for the past few years, when I watch, say, a TV show or I'm reading a book or a manga or a comic book, now I can actually see how the creators went about it. So when something is really well done, I have a much greater appreciation for it. For example, on Netflix, there's this show called Arcane, which is a League of Legends uh, IP, and especially the first season, like the way they hit the story beats and everything lines up,
Mm-hmm.
it's so well done. Like that show, I believe it's 9 episodes, and it is an absolute masterclass in storytelling, from developing like the protagonist's story arcs. And you have the classic
Sweet.
mentor character who dies. You have the villain, and they give him, like, he's a villain through and through, but they give you the why, like to almost make him sympathetic, even though he's still not, because he's so bad at this point of like the story. But it's exceptional. It's exceptionally written and produced. The art of the it's animated, and the art is incredibly cool. It's very eye popping. Very similar in style, in my opinion, to how Oliver Ark, who's my colorist, how he
Oh,
colors.
nice.
He doesn't. His colors aren't bland. Like it really, he
Mm.
like bright. Even though Inker itself is a really dark story, and
Yeah.
a portion of it, takes place uh, like midnight in the early hours of the morning, he's
Yeah.
still able to produce a brightness in a way, even though
Yeah.
like it's dark.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that later on because when you mentioned is accurate, Oliver's colors are much more vibrant than the cover that we see. Like we see this cover here that I'm showing, and we got Skunk's artworks on there. It's got really muted tones, really fleshy, realistic appeal to it. And then you
Hmm.
open the book, and then it's not that. It's vibrant colors. He's got a really good use of. Well, Oliver's been doing a lot of great work for a long, long time, though, and we're
Absolutely.
privy. We've known about him for a long time. So, for example, this color choice here, like this panel here, you got the greens, the blues, the yellows, all working together. It's really good, to see that. And it's as you mentioned, there's quite a contrast there from the cover to the actual sequential work, which is it's a nice surprise, you can say, no.
Yeah, I wanted to have a cover that would really stand out,
Yeah.
and I came across Skunk's work a couple of years ago,
Mm.
and I knew I wanted to work with him, and he's a really busy guy, so I
Yeah.
couldn't hire him to do an entire book, but I definitely wanted to get him to do a cover, and he really he captures the ominous haha, vibe of the story.
Nice.
So then on the
Yeah.
cover, or for the cover, the protagonist is the one in the background,
Yeah.
and the villain is in the foreground. And this was kind of an homage to the original Star Wars movie poster, where you had
Yeah.
Darth Vader in the background, looming over the heroes who were in the foreground. Here we reversed it, and I wanted to have kind of that starry, I think a starry night concept, but to try
Mm.
to capture that in paint would be really challenging. So we settled on that full moon and almost like the cloudy background behind our protagonist hero, Kintaro the Inker.
Yeah, it came out beautifully. It's a beautiful piece of art, and he did an amazing job on that. And I was wondering if like, how much creative freedom did you give him for that? Did you just tell him do whatever you want, or is there like, or were there some indications? Did you mention the homage thing, or is that something that he innately did?
No, we went back and forth just in the planning,
Okay.
probably maybe 2 months, just laying it out. Because obviously with Twitter, right? Like it takes time. Because he's in
Yeah.
Germany, I'm in Canada, so every time we sent a message, there was probably like a 24-hour
Mm.
delay in the response, which was totally fine because I was not in a rush at all for him to produce it. I just knew that I wanted it. So I told him about that idea of the Star Wars poster, So he loved that idea. But then, insofar as creative freedom, it was colors were decided because Rich Ayala did the character
Yeah.
concept designs. So then I sent those to Skunk. But then from there, the way he was going to lay it out was up to him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I really like allowing the artists a certain amount of freedom because I think their best work comes out that way, rather than me micromanaging every single detail.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe so. Also, I think I'm from the I'm an artist, so from the other perspective, like getting I mean, it's just good to have some kind of direction. Like, I want this and that. But I think
Hmm.
giving that freedom is always a good choice because the 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 artist lets their creativity flow, and that's always good to let loose, because if you don't want to put too much restraint on that because it'll really mess up the art. But this piece came out great, so I was curious to see how that came
Yes,
about. And
it's
it sounds like a real good collaborative effort.
yes, working with Skunk was great. The painting is actually hanging behind me in
Sweet.
my office here. Yeah, it's if I turn on the full lights, it's too
Oh,
bright in
there it
here.
is.
Yeah, there you go.
We can
Here,
see
let me
right
just
above
change
them.
that.
There it is. Sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
That's awesome, man. That's great.
I
Yeah,
really love that piece of art. It was a lot
that
of
looks
fun
great.
collaborating with him. I would like to do a book with Skunk at some point
Hmm.
down the road, but that would be probably 3 years out. He's really busy with Kill Them Dead. He's coloring
Yeah,
that, and he has some other stuff that he's
yeah. He's
working
got his
on.
own IP. He's got his own IP also in the works. Also, I've seen a few posts about that, and he just recently finished the Splash. I had him
Hmm.
on a few months back. We're talking about that, and yeah, he's always busy. He's always putting in a lot of work. And he does great work. He does amazing work. And
Yeah.
awesome stuff, man. And are there any prominent going back to where you were mentioning with your studying of writing? Are there any prominent YouTubers that you saw found that spoke about writing in the sense that was actually teaching on the subject? Like any good ones that pop up?
It's from more from a different angle. It's not so much like a writing lesson or tutorial, but
Hmm.
it was the way they broke down film, and the two guys in particular
Film.
who
Okay.
do who they do a meticulous job because they're breaking down the story.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy named Mahler. He
Smaller.
has, yeah, he's huge now. He's got a million subscribers probably.
Hmm.
He's actually involved in the Eric July anthology book that's going to be coming out.
Ah, nice. Okay.
He's one of the writers on it. But he does breakdowns of like big IPs. Like he's made a lot of videos on like the Star Wars stuff, specifically like the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And like he's pretty ruthless. Like he rips them apart, and it's kind of entertaining listening to him because I think he's from Wales, so he's got a great accent, and he's absolutely ruthless. But if you get past kind of the shock value of how vulgar he can be sometimes,
Yeah.
his breakdown of the story and pointing out how the story was done wrong or told wrong, and he'll also give certain IPs praise, which is great also. You can learn a lot, but he's not trying to like spoon feed you a lesson. He's just saying like this is what they did wrong. Like you should do the
Hmm.
opposite of this. So when you're trying to introduce a character, like the character of Ray is, she's perfect. She doesn't have weaknesses outside of maybe being too good. And you're like,
Hmm.
that's not a compelling protagonist to follow.
I
There's a
get
lot
it.
of, that sequel has, so there was so much potential, obviously, because it's Star Wars, and it seems like they really fumbled it. Another guy who is British, and his name is Little Platoon. He has a couple of other channels that, if you look him up, but he is also a fantastic analyst of story structure. I would say like he's your like almost your classic definition of what a critic should be, and he's very snarky, but the way he breaks down the story is very informative, and especially in because he'll also be very complimentary when a project deserves it. He's not just going kind of for that shock value of like the hate watching. Outside of him, who else? There's this one production or this one YouTube channel called Overly Sarcastic Productions. They have tons of videos on more like the components of writing and like how to do a good beginning, or like popular tropes and how to subvert them so that it's more original than just just doing the trope without anything different to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's so many more too.
Are there any other books that you also mentioned books that you read that helped with writing? Because I think there's a book that I keep hearing over and over again from Stephen King that talks about writing. Also, I think it's really good. Was there any other ones?
On Writing by him.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I have a bad memory for titles, but On Writing, Rick Rubin has put out a book. I forget the title of it, but it is really good. And he's almost like my creative muse insofar as the mentality that a creative needs to maintain, and how you judge success and the need to complete something so that you can move on. And yeah, like sometimes you just need to stop editing and get the book. You just say like, this is better than good enough. Because either, there's like kind of three phases of the production. It's not good enough, it's good enough, or it's better than good enough. I kind of like to try to keep things simple, and the aim should always be better than good enough. Like if it's not good enough, you certainly shouldn't release it. And there's lots of, oh, hey, Edwin, I love that guy. He's great. What's
up, Edwin? How you doing, man?
Yeah, that creative journey is really about becoming better in your craft, and also for me at least, just being a better version of myself and learning through the challenge. I mean, you get it. You're an artist. Like it's you pull your hair out and critique your stuff to no end when you're in it, and it's hard to see outside of the current project and whether it's good enough. But the more you hone it and you get it to a point where it's as tight as you can possibly make it at this point of your journey as an artist or a storyteller. That's kind of my perspective with INKER. I've done 30 plus drafts of this script, and I had this art coming in. It's been 18 months in production, and I could write a book just about the production of this book. Like one of the funniest parts of this journey was after Rich had to step away from the project because his life, he does some things changed in his life. Like for one, he got married, so now there's just like more demands in the real life, so that he just had to focus on, which was great because he connected me with Oliver to be my colorist, and then of course I had Domo as my letterer, but then he connected me with Juan Sanabria, and Juan lives in Bolivia, and there was a point where like we would message kind of once a week, so there wasn't really a break in communication. But all of a sudden he just came on. He's like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I haven't been getting back to you. There was a military coup in my country." And it's just like,
no, yeah, things are super unstable here. Yeah, things are super unstable down here. Yeah, that kind of thing happens. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so wanted to start say hi to people in the chat. And we got Apex is going on. Apex, we got Edwin. What's up, man? Great to see you. And yeah, so how did you come across the artist? Like, how did you come across Rich, Skunk, and these other people?
Well, back like maybe almost 3 years ago now, I had started a business with another artist, and we had actually partnered up and made a formal partnership business. And one of our avenues was a YouTube channel. It was called Desolate Soul Studios, and we would interview creators and tons of artists. Like we've had on
with Gooch.
Yeah, Him.
Ah, yes. Okay, there's the familiarity. I knew I had seen the face somewhere. Okay, awesome. Okay, I now pinpointed it.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember Desolate. You guys came out. Yeah, about a few years ago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, about 3 years ago. And then unfortunately that fell through, and we had a book in production,
Yeah.
and
The
uh,
dragon piece. There was a dragon piece that you guys
yeah,
posted, I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was called Atlas of Sidonia,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the business failed, and Jay decided to just go uh, and become a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And I felt a commitment to all the people whose money that we had collected through our crowdfunding over, I think it was Indiegogo.
Yeah.
So I had all the, I still have the list that of all these people, and it's kind of my motivator of on this project.
Mm.
So after that failure, I kind of sequestered myself and just thought about how am I going to make this right? Because like the money was spent on the inker of the project, and we were close to completion, but I just didn't want to release that book and
Mm.
like start again. So I stepped back and rebranded the entire world and concept. And while we had that show going on, that's when I met uh, all the artists. So
Yeah, yeah.
we had on Rich when he had Roach Balls
Yeah.
going live, and then we had on the whole Wazine crew. So we had on
Yeah.
Oliver and Juanito and all those dudes. And I really loved the I think it was like 3 or 4 page story that Juan did about the guy who's like he's a murderer effectively.
Mm.
And I kind of like cast it into the universe that I'm going to work with this guy
Mm.
at some point. And then sure enough,
Sweet.
here we are now with INKER. And I got to collaborate with all these amazing artists. So that's how I met those guys.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He started doing his YouTube channel. I was wondering about that because I hadn't realized the moment where you guys had stopped doing the Atlas of Sidonia thing.
Right.
And then like I was I was doing my thing, and then when I checked back in, like what you guys were up to, there was nothing there. There was a change in the name, I think, and then
Hmm.
Jay has started doing his show, and then now he's got a bunch of different artists on, and yeah, he's more commenting on pop culture, I think it is. I'm not quite sure,
That
but
sounds accurate.
yeah, but shout out to Jay. Hopefully things go well with him also. And yeah, okay, so awesome. So that's interesting how that worked out. But it wasn't a complete loss, though. You were able to get into contact with some artists, and then bring this idea to life. And so Jay has no connection at all with Inker or this IP.
No, certainly not.
Okay, okay, awesome. All right, so yeah, so we got let me see. We got Mike Getz in the chat. What's going on, man? Good to see you. And so yeah, so we got Rich, we got practically the Guazine crew working on the IP, which is great. They do a lot of great work. They did it's interesting that you mentioned this because I made a big fumble uh last time that Skunk was brought up. Because there was an IP that Skunk was working on, and then I saw I think Odin so something with Odin in the chat. I forgot,
Odin
and I
Gasco.
had and I had confused their the IP Kill Them Dead
Uh-huh.
with Dead Stop, and then Dead Stop is a different IP that the Glazing guys are working on, or they had worked on,
Yes, that's right.
and it's funny that I'm just thinking about that because I had that fumble of words, and then on this IP we have all those people involved. No, that's really interesting. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's actually really funny. Yeah. Yeah, the Kill Them Dead looks
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, so that's been in production also for a long time, and then I think I don't know how far along they are with that, but yeah, Odin and Skunk they've been working hard on that project also, and then hopefully we'll get some news on that, and then maybe I can have them on the show also to talk about that.
Yeah,
And
definitely. I think
great stuff, man.
they have a sign up now, I believe,
Yeah,
for
sweet.
Kill Them Dead. So hopefully they get lots of success with that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And what was the reasoning behind coming to FundMyComic versus other crowdfunding sites? What was
Well, I don't like censorship. I'm really a big fan of allowing artists to put their work out into the world and allowing the marketplace to dictate its success.
Hmm.
And there, when I first got into this scene, there was a lot of shadow banning over on Indiegogo,
Hmm.
and Kickstarter is very corporate, and they also really take a significant piece of the action
Yeah,
from
5%.
from
Huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
from the creators. So that's not awesome. And I just I feel like FundMyComic is very much like operated by creators for creators. So there's just a more of a kindred spirit involved in it as opposed to that cold corporatism. And
Yep.
they've done a great job in what they've done. I mean, I don't know the technical side of it to say what could be done better. I've seen some people post
Yeah.
comments of what they would like to see in the future, and I have no doubt that Luke and his team can improve things in ways. But for me, it's totally serves my purpose, and I really like that storefront aspect and how
Yeah.
this can basically serve as my website.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
That's a great tool. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm while I have this campaign up, I've been really digging into studying like just business as a greater concept because it's nothing I've ever desired. Like it's for example, I used to work as a cook, but I was never interested in taking the step into management because that side of it took you out of the cooking and more into numbers and needing
Hmm.
to, do budgets and stuff like that. And that, to me, that was always really boring. But now, and also cooking was never a passion for me. I was just something I was okay at, and I enjoyed the creativeness of it. So I always wanted to be in the mix cooking as opposed to balancing a book, but that's not how you make money. And kind of very similar to this, except storytelling is my passion. So now I'm really leaning into the business side and learning how to produce something that will succeed. And part of the big part of it, and what I'm learning is that you just don't quit,
Hmm.
which
No, yes,
goes
definitely.
to yeah, so that goes into the philosophy of Pick Up the Sword Studio. I equate it to training and working with, like a sword master. And when you're training with him, he's going to knock the sword out of your hand over and over and over, but you have to pick
Hmm.
up the sword again. Hence, Pick Up the Sword Studio.
That's a great attitude to have and a great name for it. No, that's exactly what you have to do, especially as creators. And you're a testament to that because you had your first initial creative endeavor with Jay. Things didn't go as you had planned. Now you're rebranding, getting together with
Hmm.
other artists, and then getting back on it, getting back on the saddle, and yeah, and it's coming out great. Yeah, and the name Inker is great. No, it's really it's just short, 2 syllables. People are quickly to pronounce versus the other title that you guys had, no, Atlas of Sidonia, is
Yeah.
a little bit more
Well, that was
more
more
of a mouthful, no, but this is more
absolutely.
just more direct. Yeah, great stuff. And can you please tell us about the story of Inker? Like what is Inker about? Tell us about
Well,
the story.
just to touch on that Atlas of Sidonia, that was supposed to be the title of kind of like the greater series, and the first book was
Yeah.
launching under that IP. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Anchor launches The Trials of Gods and Men, which is the epic
Mm,
fantasy saga that I've been working on for 30 plus years. And while that greater story, I would uh, classify it as an epic fantasy story, but it's very grand in scope.
mm,
I'm currently working diligently on the story, and it's in like from a novel context. It'll be
mhm.
about 10,000 pages.
Wow.
So Anchor launches it, and the reason I'm doing it as the graphic novel is so that I can fulfill something for all of those people from the previous project that failed.
Mm,
So I was determined to create the first book to be a graphic novel. So in the future, there's going to be novels, which is something we can talk about later in regards to the pricing that we have here. Now,
yeah.
Anchor itself is an urban fantasy horror story, and it's funny to use all the different labels. I typically wouldn't do that, but it's accurate to describe Anchor in that fashion. it's an homage to my favorite creator, Kentaro Miura of the Berserk manga, and even the colors of this page are really inspired by the books.
Berserk.
Yeah, have you read Berserk or familiar with
No,
it?
that's really no. I have heard so much about that IP, and I want to read it, and I've actually gone out to look for it, but I can't find. I live in South America, so most of the Berserk books we have here are all in Spanish, and I'm trying to find one in English. And you can't
Mm,
just buy like a digital copy; you got to actually buy like actual physical book. So I'm looking for one. And I haven't got it yet, so I haven't read that IP yet, and um, but yeah, I'm itching to read it. I would like to
mm.
read it, and
It's
and it's
outstanding.
funny. It's funny because I designed my character, and my character's sword looks strikingly similar to Berserk's sword, and I was like, I didn't, I hadn't, that wasn't planned on purpose, but I just thought I
Sure.
looked at that and I was like, that's crazy. But luckily, in my case, my sword, the one for my character, is not going to look like that. In the end, I'll be able to make adjustments to it. But I thought that was really interesting.
Well,
But yeah,
like,
I would love to read Berserk. And is
it's
it is it?
something.
Would you say it's as good as people say it is?
Yes, it's
Sweet.
like you have to understand though. Like Berserk is incredibly dark. It's not a
Okay.
happy story. So like if you're reading Berserk to have like an uplifting feel good, that's not it. It's kind of like watching Breaking Bad. It's
Okay.
it's a story that just is dark. And there's those moments, but really Kentaro Miura is he wants to put his character through the grind, and it's the
Mm.
violence is incredibly graphic. And I'm actually planning on doing some reviews because I have 8 of them and I love them. And just to produce some content, whether it's on Instagram or maybe on YouTube, I'm going to be doing kind of like chapter reviews,
Mm.
and that's something that I've got cooking up. Probably I'm going to start processing it over the summer, then I'll start releasing it in the fall because my summer is very busy already, unfortunately, for that. But
Sweet.
back to INKER. Part of the main reason I love Kentaro Miura's Berserk is because for a long time I knew I wanted to tell a story that was really dark and uh, kind of push the boundaries, so to speak.
Yeah.
But once I read him, he kind of like drew a line in the sand of how far I needed to actually go. So I didn't know what line to cross for in my own like kind of journey in learning how to tell the story I wanted to tell. So when I read him, I just kind of realized like, oh, like there's this master of incredibly dark fantasy. Like I don't need to try to surpass him. So it was like a balm for my heart as a
Okay.
creative. So now once I kind of realized that, I was able to really dig into the story that I wanted to tell. And INKER uh, explores that. And there's this view I have of the creator Kentaro Miura, where like I feel like he lived with these incredible demons that kind of haunted him as a person. And him creating Berserk was in a way exercising them. And
Mm.
I took that as a concept and made it real in INKER that the titular character has to deal with real life demons and battle those, and those are the things that are haunting him, even though the the, the demons of his past have found him today. He is a very capable individual and knows how to solve his problems.
All right. Sweet. And so his a good part of the story is him encountering these demons and then exercising them per se. You know?
Yeah, um, it's kind of like a horror mystery kind of vibe. Here in
Sweet.
this is these first 9 pages that I have up on the Fund My Comic page is the Ashcan done by Rich Ayala, and he did such a great job. And like I said before, he did all the character design, which was a lot of fun to see him produce. It's surreal as a writer having your concepts become something you can actually see. Like
Yeah.
normally as a writer, you're just writing, and it's all in your head, right? And it's up to the
Mm,
individual who's reading what you've written to visualize it. Like my
mm.
dream is for Trials of Gods and Men to become like probably an animated series at some point, because I don't think you could do it justice in live action. But
Yeah.
that's obviously far down the road.
Sweet. And then during the character design process, did Rich have complete control over what was done, or was it something like a
It was
collaborative effort?
collaborative. It was definitely
Okay.
collaborative. I knew what I envisioned, and I reference a lot of like real world people in the
Mm,
design. Like, so I probably sent him, I don't even know how many, like, in just different images to try to capture like the design of the villain on the first page, or what Skunk has on the cover art. That was probably like 10 different images of like nobility from different places in the world. And just then it was up kind of up to Rich to produce it, and then he was sending
mm,
me his like just the pencils of the concept art, and I loved it. And then Inker himself is he's kind of modeled off of like a Bruce Lee concept, but with a beard and long hair, and then obviously he's
yeah.
all tatted up. That's a great double splash page there that Rich
Oh,
did.
that's dope. Yeah.
When that came to me, I lost my mind. So like this whole
Yeah.
journey of like producing a graphic novel is or comic book is really new to me. While I read them as a kid, I never thought I would produce one. So learning how to tell a story in this visual medium where you have to incorporate the turning of the page to like have the pop, or like this page like doing a double splash
Yeah.
for effect. And this is great, that explosion scene. Rich does explosions incredibly well.
Yeah. I forgot who I was that I was talking to, and I had because I've seen Rich's work for a long time, and then something that I always admire about his work is his ability to like do his own lettering and sound effects, and then there's explosions and then emotions. Because there's a talent associated to that. No, it's not just to put a word there for the sake of putting a word there.
Mm,
Like you have to fit it in with the art, and he does it
sure.
really well.
But for appropriate credit to be given, the all this lettering is done by Dominic Arc.
Yeah,
So Rich did the explosion in all the
yeah,
black
good
and whites
stuff.
and inks. One of the funny things of this whole process was on a page up above. There's a close up of this like big pot bellied wood burning stove,
Yeah,
and while Kintaro is holding this electric cobra, which was like a trap, or a trap he basically sprung.
let
He
me get that up.
sure he's realizing that he can't let this thing go, and he's got to deal with it somehow. And it's there you go, just at the bottom left. Um,
Yeah,
we zoom in on the stove because Kintaro is going to stuff this thing in there, so that hopefully like the fire will destroy the magic.
yeah.
And Rich said that there was drawing that the burning fire with the logs and everything was actually uh, quite challenging, but he delivered the goods on it.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks great. And then the coloring just sealed
Yeah,
it all together. Good stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
what I
then
mean.
let's
When it comes to like letting artists work, like it's always just let them do their thing because, for example, Rich laid down the inks on this. The colors like made that the yellow of the flame pop and do a good contrast with the wood burning. And so that
hmm
kind of thing, like it solves itself when you let these creative individuals, do their thing. So it's great. Came
Yeah,
out
definitely.
great.
I would say like in the whole creative process, the guy that I outside of very little like it should be this color or that color
Yeah,
was for free reign I gave to was Oliver. He
yeah,
has like 20 plus years experience doing this, and he's
yeah,
worked
yeah.
with
He
Rich
knows.
before, and he knows what he knew what to do. And like this
Mm.
whole like the face of Kintaro just shining with the light of
With
this
electricity,
electric
yeah.
cobra, that he's that's all him and his own
Mm.
idea and just his own experience, and he delivered the goods incredibly well.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, great work. Came out nice.
And then
And
like
the
this
sound effects.
story, yeah, totally. this story will carry on through the trials of gods and men. So certain characters will be recurring in the future, whether it's a graphic novel or a standard novel.
Yeah.
I have a concept for a future graphic novel that would focus on the guy in the background to the left. His name is Perfect. He's a pirate captain, and the book
With the
opens.
dreads.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's the canvas to introduce Kintaro's skill, because he's got that fresh chest piece of the three dog heads.
Yeah.
And what makes Kintaro special is that he's known for creating magical tattoos. So that's why people come to him, but it's also part of the problem that makes him so famous, that those past demons are able to find him at this point. Like, he kind of thought the events of the past, which take obviously is a major part of this book, take place. The past catches up to him, and that's kind of the almost like the metaphor of the story, is like the past will eventually catch up to you, and like you need to pay the piper,
That's true.
or it destroys you.
Yeah, one of those two. Yeah, hopefully the good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. And so let's if you don't mind, if we can take a look at the tiers on the IP on the campaign, because this part was really interesting. You're launching this as a storefront, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
All right, and then I'm looking at the tiers, and then the first tier that you have here is priced at $100. Could you tell us about like what this includes and why?
Yes.
Because normally, and not to be an alarmist or anything, but normally like a price points for books like this, or just in comics in general, no, $25, $20, $15, and to see 100 like really right off the gate is unusual. And what was the thought process behind that? How to what was that about?
Right. So you're not the first person to ask me about this, and I feel like I haven't been able to provide a good enough response as to the why.
Yeah.
The first thing is that this book is only being released currently as a hardcover. So that in and of itself
Okay. That's a
makes
hardcover
it
book. Okay.
a more of a premium object. Um, it'll also come with a print of that cover that Skunk produced, and the book is quite large compared to most people's projects that are launched on the crowdfunding
Yeah,
site.
72 pages is a big book. Yeah,
I know there's exceptions to the rule, but 72 pages is quite big.
that's a big book.
Um, the fifth thing that we'll just jump to is that this price also includes shipping. So,
Okay.
if you're, depending on where you are in the world, that shipping could be $40, So you're getting this 72-page hardcover book that has been 18 months in production.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this beautiful print that Skunk did. Then you can either like hang it or put it somewhere, and then you become an official member of the Trials of Gods and Men fandom. And my fans are legends, so you get an official certificate with your name declaring that you're a legend of the Trials of Gods and Men. And then you also get membership to the Pick Up the Sword Studios Legendarium, which is something that I'm currently building and is going to be launching in the fall. And that's over on Substack.com. And what that is it's early access to the 10,000 pages of story that I'll be producing over the next 10 years. So before it's produced in a novel or in some other whatever format it's produced in, you're going to be able to follow along on the story. So while you have this $100 price tag, which includes the shipping and this incredible 72-page hardcover book and the piece of art that Skunk produced,
Okay.
you're basically like it's the key to the story that I'm going to be telling. And if you're a fan of epic fantasy and dark stories and long story arcs and incredible characters with really great world building and fantastic, unique magic, you're gonna love this story. And to get all of that with this purchase, and plus the what I'm doing is once the Substack launches, I'm going to be doing like either monthly or every 2 weeks, I'll be releasing a chapter of the story. And then there will be opportunities to have like early ordering of the novels. And the one thing I can say for sure is that I'm going to be releasing a pile of books. And so there's going to be this online, almost like manga release schedule of releasing quickly, whether it's 5,000 words or 10,000 words. It'll be like kind of the next chapter of the story. But in the future of Pick Up the Sword Studio is other graphic novels. And I've spoken to a couple of artists already that have agreed to work on future books. That's a couple of years out for sure. But the future of Pick Up the Sword Studio and Trials of Gods and Men is very bright, and the story I'm telling is something that people aren't going to want to miss. So this opportunity, I don't know how long I'm going to keep this up, because as I've been, like I told you earlier, I've been learning about like business and how one goes about this. This is very much me learning about the industry. So I'm not sure how much longer this might actually be up. We'll see. I don't really know what the future is, but all I can say is if you get on board now with this $100 tier, you're going to get everything that's promised. But if this stays up, I'm not sure how long that will stay. The other thing, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The membership to the Legendarium, that's where this idea comes from, where they get early access to the 10,000 pages that you put out. That's the membership to the Legendarium idea that you had.
Exactly. So for people that don't back the book, there would be a paywall for other people to access the story in that format. Like these books or these chapters will be composed into a novel's format, and the books will be for sale in the future also. But for the people that back me now in this, like, this is literally like the ground floor of what I kind of perceive as like, or it's like the first base camp of a mountain.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of at the bottom looking up at this mountain, and I'm saying, walk with me, we're going to head up to the peak. But getting up there's a lot of steps, so it's going to take a lot of time. But along the way, before we get to the finale, because one thing I do want to say is, unlike, like, say, George R.R. Martin, who doesn't know how to conclude his story because he didn't write with a plan, I know the ending of those 10,000 pages, and getting there is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm writing every morning, and I produce content very quickly. The editing is where a lot more time is spent, obviously, to make it as good as possible, because it goes back to that concept of better than good enough. I want to craft a story that people dig into, and I equate this to all of the other long stories, like, say, Dragon Ball Z or Berserk or One Piece. Those are these long chronological stories that, thousands of pages. Like Berserk is 10,000 pages of illustrated manga, which is crazy, right? That's 25 years of this guy's life. This has always been my dream. I didn't know how to do it. But then once I got into manga and I saw what these guys were doing, I realized, like, oh, this is my path. This is what I want to do. Except I'm a writer, I'm not an artist. So I'm kind of doing a hybrid of like being a novelist, but I'm going to release it in kind of a manga style over in the Legendarium.
So you have this first book, INKER, And then simultaneously you're running you're going to do the Substack where they get the 10,000 page in novel format. These two stories are the same?
It's the same. No, it's the same world.
Same world,
So,
different characters, different.
so INKER, his initial concept was to be a part of a novel, and he was one of the other one. He's one of the characters that tied in to the
Okay.
greater story.
And
there
the
would be
greatest story is Trials of Gods and Men.
exactly.
And then
And then,
Anchor is a character within that banner, that title.
so I
Yeah.
already have
Mhm.
like in the 10,000 pages, I have 200-ish characters like already like plotted out and what's going to happen to them. And while I
Yeah.
say that there is some flexibility where if like some inspiration comes that the story changes in once it's writing, because like, as a creator you know how things can change once you like
Yeah.
get into that creative process. I don't want to say that it's locked in and that there's no flexibility, but I know where everybody's going, and it's not that I don't necessarily know how they get there, but I know where they're going. So that
Mm.
flexibility allows for a more fluid, complete story, but I do know where they end up.
Sweet. Awesome. And in this in the early access, I have one more question. Like, do members also do, like, for example, do they get any say in what happens? Or do they get any kind of a chance to like give input and maybe sway a little bit the story, or is that not part of the?
Well, that's not something I considered. I would approach this from a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm very open to collaboration. So, say I'm working, people are following along with the story, and take for example the pirate Captain Perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe someone approaches me and says, "Hey, have you like we really want more perfect," but
Mm,
maybe that person is a writer themselves.
yeah.
Well, there's an opportunity to potentially create something that would become part of the trials of gods and men,
Mm,
and they would be. That's not something I would expect of them for free. Like we would, there would
yeah.
be. I'm open to discussion because for me, what I'm doing is I'm growing this world and I'm building this world of story.
Yeah.
And if I can collaborate with other people, that's amazing because I love working with other creatives.
Well,
The
I will say, I'm sorry.
It's
Please, I'm
okay.
sorry. Continue. Continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, just I was just saying, like I love working with whether it's writers or artists. If someone has an idea, even if say you said, "Oh man, I really like this guy. Can I do like an 8-page like ash can?"
Mm,
Yeah. And we could figure out some way to compensate you for your time and effort, whether it's like, say you get like a portion of the sales or whatever it might be. I'm open to everything that will help grow my story and the brand of Pick Up the Sword Studio because I'm dedicated to creating the very best stories.
mm.
And there will down the road there will probably be a paperback or a soft cover option to back Anchor, but at this juncture, there's only this premium edition, which is the 72-page hardcover.
Nice. Awesome. No, I was
And then
commenting more like.
also,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
go ahead. Oh
No,
no,
no, you.
you let me. I was just gonna say that for the people who see that $100 price tag, and then down, like if you continue down, you see that 450, and there's like an 850. That's for people who are major fans and want to have multiple. Like some people have lots of money, and if you want to get multiple copies of the book, then like good on you. But one thing I'm going to add is that if you're an artist and you submit fan art, you can get a 30% discount on the cover price. And that goes for all the tiers. So say, for example, you backed me, you produced a piece of fan art, whether it's from whatever is in the book, like it could be off the cover. And then I have some pages at the bottom from Juanito that
Yeah.
show some of the characters.
Let me
Um,
see. Juanito.
yeah, there you go. So just scroll back up.
Uh.
So here we have Juanito's stuff. So
Okay.
after the 9 pages, that's when Juanito came on. So this page that you're looking at here, that's the 10th page. So this is Juanito's introduction, and he does such a great job of like this epic temple monastery or this monastery in the mountains.
Hmm.
And then above that is this
This
was
is
something
Rich.
no, this is Juanito.
Oh yeah, okay.
Um,
Oh yeah, okay, I got you.
this is the devil or Oni tattoo that's on the back of Kentaro. It's this living creature that he can let out into the world, and it'll defend him. So, for example, the pirate Captain Perfect, he has these 3 dog heads on his chest.
Yeah.
Those dogs can come to his aid when he's in danger, and they'll leap out of his skin and fight for him. And they're in the story world, they're called Crimson Mastiffs. Are you familiar with what a Mastiff is?
Not too much, no.
So a Mastiff is like, it's a really big dog.
Okay, yeah. That the breed of dog, yes.
The Romans actually had Mastiffs in their military that they would have like bladed harnesses on,
Nice.
and they were trained to run beneath enemy cavalry to disembowel the horses. So that's what Perfect has on his chest. He has 3 of these dogs, and in story they weigh like 200 pounds each. So it's like a foot. Like, there's a breed of Mastiff called the Bull Mastiff, and they're major
bigger,
like units. Like they're 200-pound dogs that, you know, they're very friendly, but if you're on the wrong side of them, you don't want to be there. But yeah, so back to that 30% discount. This is a very long-term process for me. I'm not in any particular rush because I have my novels that I'm producing, and getting people to do fan art is something that I really want to see, because I want to see people invested in the story and being able to see that. And then as a thank you to them, they're going to get this 30% discount off the ticketed price.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. And my what I was asking you earlier was like not necessarily like such an in-depth collaborative effort. Because for example, when you mentioned like if someone were to say I like this character, but I want to do an 8-page story of this character, that's much more like hands-on approach. But I was referring to more like what if, because I if I'm not mistaken, you have this Legendarium concept on your Substack. Is that correct? Yeah, so people read that, I assume, no, and so I'm thinking like, what if someone reads what you're saying, and they say, oh, why don't you add this, like just an off comment, and they're like, why don't you add that, or what if he goes into that room and not the other room, or what if he does this with the tattoo instead of the other thing? Like, are those kinds of ideas like
well, I
accepted?
I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not writing it as like almost like a choose your own adventure per se.
Yeah, type thing. Yeah, that's not.
That's a little bit too chaotic even for me.
Yeah.
Like I know where it's going, and I think more. I want people to be wondering what happens next, as opposed to being a part of that process. But as I said, if something really speaks to an artist and they want to collaborate with me to produce a piece of IP, whether it's like take this Rippaverse anthology book that he's doing with a bunch of people, I could totally see doing something along those lines where I get like maybe 8 artists or 10 artists, and they all produce between 4 to 8 pages of something that would all be in world of Trials of Gods and Men. That's something I'd be very open to doing. Because as I said, I've really enjoyed this process of creating this book with the artists. And now that I've done one, I am much more confident and learned for the next project, because this was a serious learning curve producing this book, but it's turned out really well. And also it's 100% done. I should add that when people back, it will be, I have the shipping date tentatively in September, but in reality, it'll probably be much sooner than that.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome stuff, man. Yeah, 18 months of production, 72 pages. Everything's already colored, lettered, inked, everything. Yeah, nice.
Also, while we're here, I'm not sure how long your show is intended to be.
Just for a bit longer, because it normally goes for an hour, but just a bit longer. Yeah, we can stretch it out a bit.
So if I may, I would love to share with you and your audience my preview video that is just completed the other day.
Yeah, no problem. I think you can pull it up and then I can share it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Dennis has the link in the chat. Thank you very much, Dennis. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate the
Dennis.
mods helping out. And yeah, so the links for this, just in case while John is pulling that up, the links for everything in today's show is going to be in the description below. I was unaware of John's Substack, so I'll get that link in there also.
Well,
And
it's the Substack's not, the Substack doesn't have anything on it right now, so don't
oh, yeah,
even
okay,
worry
sorry.
about it. It's all
Okay.
it's under construction currently, but
Okay, never mind.
it'll be ready in the fall. It'll coincide with that official launch
Of
date.
the Legendary.
But, yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. All right, so all the other links are in the description below. So you guys check them out after. If you guys are watching this on the replay, check it out on the description below. Please also, everyone in the chat, don't forget to hit that like button. I always keep forgetting to say that. All right, so here is hold on, let me remove this. Let me add this.
Super.
All right, so I think you just click play and then we'll hear it.
You betcha.
Let's check this out. Sweet, awesome work, man. And did you do that trailer?
No. I hired Pedro Caicedo.
Ah, nice.
He was recommended by Luke Stone. I asked Luke who would be a good person
Pedro
to connect
Ang.
with. Yes.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a master of animation. That guy's great. Yeah, he does work with RT Bear. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He sent me that, and then I immediately responded like, "Now I want to do the whole book." And he was like, "Oh, that's possible." And I was like, "Well, I got to sell some copies before we tackle that project."
Yeah, he can make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Obviously from that, and then shout out to the band Otiken. They are indigenous to Siberia, and they're this band that tours in China and Russia and all over in that part of the world. And on their official website, they give permission for people to use their music in videos. So I think most people would use that in like, TikTok or something about that kind of vibe. But I decided to take them up on it for my promotional video for INKER, and it captures the vibe. I
got the it was almost as if the girl was singing it. The girl,
yeah, exactly.
It's almost as if she was singing it as she's about to attack these the guys in the book.
Yeah,
awesome stuff, man.
There's in that video, I always forget when I see it. There's so many like seeds being planted for the greater story of Trials of Gods and Men in this book, INKER.
Nice.
There's a lot of mythology and lore and world building that would be really forced to try to put into this book to tell all of it, but then it would be telling versus showing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's the Trials of Gods and Men is an epic fantasy that I strive. My goal is to create the best story like ever written, and I know that's incredibly brash to say, but that's the
Yeah.
goal. So even if I don't achieve that, I'm still going to create
I
something
guess.
that's as good as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Definitely. That.
the story won't disappoint. And if you're interested in joining the ride for the next 10 years of storytelling, maybe even more, but I'm 47 and I would like to get it done before I'm 60. So that's 13 years away.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'll
tough.
be
Yeah.
released. Yeah, it's 10,000 pages is a lot of pages. Plus picking up
Sub
pi-
G.
picking up other graphic novels in the process that I am really looking forward to doing as well.
Awesome, man. And what? Just one final question, if I may. Like, what have you come across any writers that have influenced you in your writing in the CG sphere or in indie comics? Is there anyone in particular that's caught your attention?
In the Comicsgate sphere.
Yeah,
Um,
or indie comics. Anyone just in general that has influenced you, or
well, everybody that worked on this book has been an influence on me for sure.
yeah,
From before working with me, their work caught my eye. I mean, there's a lot of really talented individuals in the CG sphere. Um, yeah, I own Skunks, so the Splash, Rich Ayala.
yeah.
His style of storytelling with his art is really inspirational. Um,
For writers, there's not anyone that you can think of offhand.
uh, I haven't read that many guys.
Okay.
I'm more. I read a lot of manga, or I
Ah,
do.
nice.
I also do. I get a lot of my input via anime or like from shows versus
Yeah.
reading. Because it's just I try to read books, but I have two little kids and I have a house, and there's a lot of things that demand my attention. So to just be able to actually
Yeah,
have the
that's
time just
difficult.
to sit
Mhm.
down and read is tricky. But for whatever reason, I can make the time to watch a show.
Nice.
My literary influences are more from like my 20s, I would say, as opposed to like my 40s. Like it's
Okay.
people like Tolkien. George R. R. Martin is my major goal is to complete my story, Trials of Gods and Men, before he finishes getting the Song of Ice and
Before,
Fire.
nice. Yeah, and one would say that's no, not doable. But the way he's approaching the situation, though, it may actually happen.
Yeah.
I may finish my book before he does his. No, so- and I'm years away from doing mine. Yeah, good stuff, man. Awesome. Yeah, I want to shout out to Jimmy the Lumberjack. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate you having you in the chat. And everybody else in the chat, appreciate you guys. And yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for us. John, if you can tell us where can we find you? You haven't, the Substack's not ready just yet, but where can we find you other than in today's episode?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the book is on FundMyComic. Just
Mhm.
look up INKER, you'll find it. I'm over on Twitter. You can either look up John W. Ossichuk or pick up the Sword Studio. You'll find me. My logo will be there. Pick up the Sword Studio. And I do have a couple of little videos, some book reviews up on YouTube under Pick Up the Sword Studio. And I actually just received the Destroyer tier from Joe Sontag's Reaper Destroyer that
Nice.
I'm going to be doing. There will be another posting, but my goal is to actually grow that channel so that I can do live interviews, much like yourself. And
Sweet.
once that's rolling, I would love to have you on. And 'cause I'm very curious about you and your own story.
Nice.
And today was focused on me, but I would love to get to know you and your own creative journey.
Yeah, awesome. Man. Yeah, I'm down for that whenever the opportunity arises. Yeah, I'd love to come on and talk about Ominus. There's always lots to say about that, but yeah, awesome stuff, man. So for the moment, you just have reviews on the channel.
I did the Splash, and I also have Band of the Crow by
Sweet.
Arvid.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
he's actually like I don't know if he's technically comic skate or what, but
yeah.
his book Band of the Crow is something I really enjoyed. And
Hmm.
my usual issue with most comic books is that they end so quickly.
Yeah.
that I'm like, damn, why can't this go carry on more? But I ordered his Tear of the Goddess or whatever the tier was, so that to get the full first book. Oh, and then also a different indie guy who's kind of gone mainstream is Pierre Berg.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on my local comic shop to get issue 2 of Vatican City. Uh, that's a guy who I would love to collaborate with on a project, because he certain artists' styles kind of dictate a type of story. It's
Hmm.
kind of like if every time I've sat in, like, say, an acting class, I'll see someone who's like, when they're doing their lines, I can kind of envision them as a character in my story, and that transfers over to when I see someone's art, I envision a story I would love to see them produce with me.
Sweet.
Yeah, in that 10,000, in those 10,000 pages, there's a lot of opportunity for standalone stories
Mm.
that I'm looking forward to producing with others outside of just the novels that I'm working on.
Sweet. Sounds great, man. Awesome stuff. So yeah, so Chad, you heard it. You can check him out on his YouTube show. I was unaware of that also, so I'll put that link in there in the chat, in the description below. And yeah, so be on the lookout for Anchor. It's currently funding on FundMyComic, and yeah, so please check out the chat, check out the links. Be sure to back the book, and that's pretty
And
much it. No,
seize the day before the that inclusive offer disappears for a different structure.
Nice. Yeah, so get in on that because there's a lot of promising stuff coming your way from Legendarium. So it's interesting to be able to get such a um, close early access, to all that information. So it's great stuff, man. Awesome work, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Awesome.
it.
And yeah, and that'll be it for us today. I will be back on my on Thursday. On Thursday, I have no guest. I'm gonna take a look at some ominous. If I can manage it, I think I may have some ominous pages ready to show you guys. Because if the people are not aware just yet, you should be aware. No, but I'm redoing the pages, I finally got them in. So now the pages are done. The lettering is done. The new lettering is done. The new sound effects are done. And so I may be able to show that off on Thursday. If not, the following week for sure. And yeah, so don't forget, Ominous launches on June 26th. Sign up. The sign up link is in the just pinned to the chat. Remember, if you sign up, you get excellent deals: 2 books for the price of 1, 3 books for the price of 2, and many other things that may pop up in my head. No, so you guys be sure to sign up so you get in on all those deals and save yourself some money. And yeah, so I'll be back on Thursday, and then we'll continue again next week with more guests and more just hanging out on the streams, and that'll be it for us. Thank you very much, John. It was a pleasure to have you here. We'll be sure to have you back on again for any other IPs you may have on, or Anchor 2, or whenever you launch the Legendarium. Yeah, happy to have you back, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was great meeting you.
Awesome, man. Likewise. And yeah, and with that, we are out. You guys be safe. You guys have a great one, and I will catch you in the next show. I'll be here on Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, I hate when my face is just all over the screen. All right, so I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great one. Be safe. And I'm out.